For the absurd man, finding meaning can be a challenge. We look out at the universe. It's vast and ancient. It's filled with billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars. Our planet is just a tiny speck in all of that. It's easy to feel small and insignificant. It's tempting to ask, what's the point of it all? What if the universe doesn't owe us an answer? There's no grand plan, no preordained purpose. This can be a scary thought for some. We want to believe our lives have inherent meaning. We crave a reason for our existence, but what if there isn't one? What if we're just here? That's the core idea of the absurd. It's the conflict between our deep desire for meaning and the universe's indifference to our desires. The universe doesn't care about our hopes and dreams, it simply exists. This doesn't mean life is meaningless, it just means we have to find our own meaning. We have the freedom to choose our own values and create our own purpose. The absurd isn't about giving up, it's about embracing the freedom that comes from accepting the universe's indifference. Some people find the idea of the absurd depressing. If there's no inherent meaning, why bother doing anything at all? Why not just give up? This is where the idea of suicide as a solution comes in. But for Albert Camus, the philosopher who popularized the absurd, suicide is a rejection of our freedom, not an embrace of it. Camus believed that even in the face of a meaningless universe, life is still worth living. He saw suicide as a way of avoiding the problem of the absurd, not solving it. Instead of giving in to despair, Camus urged us to rebel. He wanted us to embrace the absurd and live life to the fullest. We can find joy and fulfillment in the everyday, even without absolute meaning. We can appreciate the beauty of the natural world. We can form deep connections with other people. We can create art, music, and literature that inspires us. So how do we find meaning and joy in an absurd universe? The first step is to accept that we are responsible for creating our own meaning. We can't rely on external sources like religion, society, or even the universe itself. Instead, we need to look inward. What do we find important? What makes us feel alive? The answers to these questions will be different for everyone, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to finding meaning in the absurd. We might find meaning in our relationships, our work, our hobbies, or simply in the act of experiencing the world around us. The important thing is that we are actively engaged in creating a life that is meaningful to us. Camus uses the term absurd hero to describe someone who embraces the absurd. This isn't a superhero in a cape. It's an ordinary person who chooses to live a passionate and fulfilling life despite the lack of inherent meaning. The absurd hero lives in the moment. They don't dwell on the past or worry about the future. They embrace the freedom that comes with accepting the absurd. They create their own values and live by them wholeheartedly. Think of artists, explorers, and revolutionaries. They often challenge the status quo and pursue their passions despite facing obstacles and uncertainties. They embody the spirit of the absurd hero. What's the point of a football game or a basketball game? In the grand scheme of things, they're meaningless. No cosmic significance hangs on whether one team wins or loses. But that doesn't stop us from enjoying them. Why? Because they're engaging. We get caught up in the thrill of the competition, the skill of the players, the excitement of the moment. Sports offer a powerful metaphor for living within the absurd. We can approach life as a game to be played, not a puzzle to be solved. The joy comes from participating fully, striving for excellence and enjoying the journey regardless of the outcome. We might not win every game, just like we might not achieve all of our goals in life, but that's okay. The important thing is to keep playing, to keep striving, to keep experiencing all that life has to offer. In Greek mythology, Sisyphus was punished by the gods. His task? To push a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down for eternity. This seems like the ultimate image of futility, a perfect example of the absurd. But Camus saw something else in Sisyphus' story. Imagine Sisyphus at the bottom of the hill, looking up at the boulder. He knows he has to push it up again, and he knows it will just roll back down. But what if, in that moment, he chooses to smile? What if he finds a strange sense of joy in the absurdity of his situation? This is the heart of embracing the absurd. It's finding joy and meaning in the face of meaninglessness. It's recognizing that even though life is filled with repetitive struggles, we can still choose to approach those struggles with a sense of purpose and even joy. Camus identified 3 key elements for living a fulfilling life in the face of the absurd: revolt, freedom, and passion. Revolt means rejecting the idea that we need external meaning to live a good life. It means embracing our freedom to create our own values and live by them authentically. Freedom, in the context of the absurd, doesn't mean we can do whatever we want without consequences. It means we have the power to choose our attitude and our actions in the face of a meaningless universe. We can choose to live a life filled with joy, passion, and meaning. And passion, that's the fuel that keeps us going. It's the love for life, the pursuit of our interests, the dedication to our values. Passion gives us the energy to embrace each day with enthusiasm, even when facing the absurd. When we let go of the need to find inherent meaning in everything, we open ourselves up to appreciate the beauty of the present moment. We can find joy in the simple things: a beautiful sunset, a good conversation with a friend, the feeling of warm sand between our toes. This doesn't mean we should ignore the problems of the world or pretend that everything is perfect, but it does mean we can choose to focus on the good, to find moments of happiness even in the midst of suffering. The absurd teaches us that life is precious because it is finite. We only have a limited amount of time on this planet. Let's make the most of it. Let's fill our lives with experiences that bring us joy, connect us with others, and make us feel truly alive. If the universe doesn't give us a purpose, we have the freedom to create our own. This is both empowering and challenging. It requires us to look inward, identify our values, and set goals that align with those values. Our purpose might be to make the world a better place, to create something beautiful, or simply to live a life full of love and laughter. Whatever it is, it should be something that gives us a sense of direction and motivates us to get out of bed each morning. We can find purpose in our relationships, our work, our hobbies, or our contributions to our communities. The important thing is that we are actively engaged in creating a life that is meaningful to us. The absurd can be liberating. Once we let go of the need for external validation and embrace the freedom to create our own meaning, the possibilities become endless. We are no longer bound by societal expectations or preordained destinies. We are free to chart our own course, to explore new horizons, to live a life that is true to ourselves. This freedom can be both exhilarating and terrifying. It requires courage to embrace the unknown, to step outside of our comfort zones and to forge our own path. But the rewards are well worth the risk. When we embrace the absurd, we open ourselves up to a universe of possibilities. We can live a life that is authentic, meaningful, and filled with joy. The universe may be indifferent to our existence, but that doesn't mean our lives are meaningless. We have the power to create our own meaning, to find joy in the everyday, and to live a life that is both fulfilling and absurd. So let's embrace the absurd. Let's revolt against the need for external meaning. Let's find freedom in the face of uncertainty. Let's live with passion and purpose. The universe may not owe us anything, but that doesn't mean we can't make it ours. Let's explore, let's create, let's love, let's laugh, and let's live each day to the fullest. Because in the grand cosmic dance of existence, even our seemingly insignificant lives can be a source of wonder and joy.